Whoa.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Vegan Kitchen. Today, we're not in the Vegan Kitchen, we're in the Vegan Pantry. And I did a little bit of straightening up because Mrs. Vegan Kitchen would kill me if I brought you into our pantry as it normally is, but I didn't change anything really. This is basically what my pantry looks like. I'm here today with my friend Desiree. And hi Desiree.
Hey, hello.
She's behind the camera. She's not a professional camera person or anything. So we're just going to wing it today and have a little conversation about what you need to have for a good vegan pantry. I get these questions all the time. People always want to know, well, what do you use for fill in the blank, that kind of thing. And I really think this is the way to do it. So come on in close and I'm going to give you a little tour and show you how I organize what I do and how my pantry works to help me run a great vegan kitchen. So over here is kind of my baking stuff. I don't do a lot of baking, but I do make my own bread, and I make a couple of quick breads like banana bread and zucchini bread and cornbread, things like that. So of course I have flour. I have white flour and whole wheat flour. I get some of my flour from the farmer's market, so I buy it in bulk like this, which is really great, but not always. And a little bit of rye flour, because I like rye bread, so every now and then I make a rye bread.
Nice.
But not often. I also got stuff like, dried coconut chips and chickpea flour.
What's that used for?
I use it. Well, it's used in a lot of baking goods to substitute for flour and stuff like that. I use it in making my own seitan, homemade seitan.
What is seitan?
Seitan is wheat gluten.
Oh.
Some flaxseed, that's a thickener and an egg substitute. Some cornmeal, some vital wheat gluten.
Okay.
This is an essential really for a good pantry, because if you make your own seitan, you got to have this vital wheat gluten. Yeah. Baking soda, things like that. Baking powder. Up here, I got sea vegetables. This is a great thing to have in your pantry. We have nori for making sushi. We have wakame.
And these are things that are just...
These are available in all health food stores. It's seaweed.
Right.
And it comes in lots of different kinds. I don't use it a lot, but when you want it, it's really great to have it. Mm-hmm. Also, something in the same section is something called agar agar. Do you know about that?
I do not.
This is the vegan substitution for gelatin.
Nice.
Right? Gelatin is made from crushed up animals. It's a really horrible process. I don't need to tell you about it. Anyone who really wants to know can go and look it up. But gelatin is not vegan.
Right.
But there is vegan gelatin, and it's distilled from sea vegetables, agar. And it comes in little flakes like this. We use it primarily for making homemade veggie cheeses.
Oh.
It hardens up and makes the cheese hard.
Nice.
Like a regular old hard cheese. So that's good. That's good to have, because if you ever want to make cheese, you need to have that.
Okay.
Moving down into the wire racks here, we use a lot of nuts, like I was talking about making cashew cheese. So, this is where I keep all of our bulk nuts. This we get also at the farmer's market. Cashews, almonds, also a little bit of candy, chocolate, and Lifesavers, and fruit leather, that kind of thing, snacks. Cookies and crackers, crunchy chickpeas, and dried fruits. This is a really easy recipe. I'm going to make this recipe sometime on the channel. Dried figs, this kind of dried fig, Turkish figs, onions, and fresh herbs. You brown the onions. You chop up the Turkish figs, brown them. A little bit of sage, a little bit of oregano.
That sounds
in
really
a skillet.
savory. And
oh
lovely.
my God, it's so good. And if you really want it to be like hearty, white beans, cooked white beans. Now you've got beans, figs, and onions.
Wow.
That is just nutritious. It takes 1 second. Can of beans, 1 onion, a few figs.
Nice.
Boom. Really easy recipe. I learned that years and years ago. I like the veggie jerky. Mm. You know, beef jerky, but it's like vegan. This is the Primal Strips. I think they're pretty good. I'm actually going to also do a review of the different veggie jerkies because Light Life makes one, and these guys Harvest Sam's makes one. Mm-hmm. It's good. I like jerky, and but I don't want it to be from cows. So they make pretty good stuff, and it's a great snack to have. Kids come home from school, veggie snack.
Nice.
That's like a real easy thing. And then potato chips and bagel chips and tortillas and all those kinds of crunchy things.
Are there any particular ones? Are there non-vegan chips?
Well, the non-vegan stuff is all the powdery dairy flavoring stuff.
Okay.
Cheddar cheese flavor and sour cream and onion flavor and pizza flavor and all that flavored stuff.
So
there's none of that.
Right.
That stuff is garbage. You want to have barbecued potato chips? Okay, my kids like barbecue potato chips. Right, we eat them. But all that other stuff, lots of powdery whey powder and dairy powder. Ugh.
Dig it.
Yep. Okay, now we come over here, and this is really more sort of staples. This was the stuff we were talking about before, Desiree, is what do you need to have in your pantry so that even when you don't have something in mind, you can come into the pantry and make something. So let's start up here over in this corner. This is sort of beans and legumes and grains. All right, so we eat a lot of chickpeas. I like to make hummus, homemade hummus. So you cook the chickpeas overnight in the slow cooker and then follow a good hummus recipe. So we almost always have these.
Okay.
Because if you put them in at night, then the next day, they cook overnight. The house smells great in the slow cooker, and the next day you have chickpeas. And I get these again from the farmer's market in bulk.
And they're very affordable.
Oh my God!
It's significantly. How much would that make?
For two. Well, here's a comparison, okay? Because I think I have. Here's pinto beans. It's probably not priced. It's cheaper to buy in bulk.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
Get a good bulk place for stuff like this. Quinoa.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of quinoa compared to buying it in, a package like this.
Right.
We like quinoa, so we eat a lot of quinoa. Pinto beans, right? Just the basic red beans for red beans and rice, all the Mexican dishes, all the Louisiana kind of dishes. Also, lentils, dal lentils. These, what they call beluga lentils that look like little things. These are a little more, they hold up a little better, unlike stuff like split peas. Mm-hmm. Right, so, and that changes. We might not always have split peas. I might have green lentils, not the other kind, but I'll usually have some kind of split pea. I'll usually have some kind of bean, usually have quinoa, usually have lentils of some kind. That's,
the staples.
Right, that covers all of that kind of stuff. Also over here, that's sort of more of this. I have some of the convenience stuff. Like boxed mac and cheese.
Yeah.
They make it vegan. Mm-hmm. So who doesn't like boxed mac and cheese? Everybody in the world likes that.
Especially children.
But the dairy stuff it's no more gross or less gross. It's just dairy, and that's the part I don't want. Right. I like Annie's. This is a good kind. I like the Daya. That's another good kind. Try different ones. See which one you like. I'm not endorsing products or anything, unless they want to, pay me. Send me products. Annie's. Hey, looking.
Hashtag it.
Hashtag
see what happens.
Annie's.
Yeah.
You guys call them and tell them we want the vegan kitchen for Annie's. Yeah. Breadcrumbs. I like to have breadcrumbs because they really holding things together. Veggie burgers, eggplant burgers. I make a great eggplant burger that's so easy to make, but you gotta have breadcrumbs.
Does it have to be panko?
No, but they're fried. Panko means that it's fried.
Okay.
That the breadcrumbs are fried. So, what's not better fried?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It is more calories, more fat, etc. If you want not panko fried, so just get seasoned breadcrumbs or make your own.
Right.
But again, as a convenience thing to make your own, that takes a couple days.
Yeah.
Dry them out. boxed rices, all those kinds of things, ramen noodles, potato chips, those could be the potato chips. Also over here I have stuff for like breakfast, cereal stuff. Once a week we make oatmeal overnight, put it in the slow cooker at night and it's ready for breakfast the next day. Steel cut oatmeal, so we almost always have some steel cut oats.
Does it have to be overnight? Because my kids eat it daily.
No.
Okay.
You could, but if you cook this not overnight, you kind of got to watch it.
Okay.
Right? Overnight you set it up.
Night.
Right? Set it and forget it. And some other crackers and snacky kind of stuff. I like these. I like cheese crackers. Who doesn't like cheese crackers?
Everybody.
But I don't eat them. So Earth Balance makes vegan cheese crackers.
Nice.
Oh my God. These are indulgent. Also, breakfast cereals, granola, Chex, my kids like, Jozos, whatever the kids and I eat. Also over here is peanut butter. I eat a lot of peanut butter. And what you probably notice is I got things stacked one in front of the other. Mm-hmm. I like to have, a couple deep of things in my pantry. That has nothing to do with being a vegan. That has to do with being prepared in life and having enough food to be able to eat if we couldn't get more food. I like to have, 1 or 2 deep of everything. So I have peanut butter. I got another one behind it. When I use one, that's when it goes back on my list. And I buy a thing of peanut butter.
That makes sense. I
have, a couple of the boxed mac and cheeses. I use one, it goes back on my list. And that way, I kind of always have what I need.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. All right, what else do I got over here? I almost always have this. Boxed aseptic tofu. Aseptic means that it's closed and doesn't have to be refrigerated. This has long shelf life. It's like the boxed milks and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They also make boxed tofu. This is all of them are what's called silken tofu. Mm-hmm. Again, you can reference my video, Tofu University. That will explain to you what silken tofu is. But I get the firm silken. Oh, that kind?
Yeah, that's better. I could actually see. I'm sure.
And that just holds up a little more, the firm.
Okay.
And mostly my wife and daughter add this to snacks and rice and food and stuff they're reheating just to have a little more of a meal instead of just having leftovers. It's leftovers plus a little bit of tofu. And I buy it by the case. I buy a case and it lasts, and when it's done, I get another case of it. This stuff will last a year.
Nice.
Yeah, on the shelf, easy. Also, my wife does Weight Watchers, so we have a couple of Weight Watchers. The skinny pasta, these are those konjac noodles. They're gluten-free, grain-free noodles that are very, very low calorie and very low glycemic index. So, great. They stay on the shelf too. And also over here is this kind of stuff. People always ask about like substitute dairy. Mm-hmm. We don't drink a lot of soy milk. Our kids don't like soy milk. I don't like soy milk. I find it a little thick and sweet. My wife doesn't like soy milk. So we use rice milk.
Okay.
My son, he likes rice milk. So we use rice milk on cereal, in recipes. My wife likes almond milk, so we also sometimes get almond milk. But we just don't use a lot of milk. So when we use it, it's rice milk. If something calls for soy milk because it has a higher fat content, then you got to use soy milk because rice milk is lower fat.
Is there no way to substitute that higher fat content?
Well, there are some things where it matters, in baking and in, sort of food chemistry, but it doesn't really matter to me. The simple answer is for things like cereal and simple recipes, find the one that you like. Rice, almond milk, soy milk, hemp milk, cashew milk. I mean, whatever it is, they make a lot of different kinds, and you find the one that you like.
Dig it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it over here. Okay, so let's move over this way. This is sort of more the pantry stuff, provisions, not sort of staples as much as cans, jars, all that sort of thing. Up top, I got salt. So we use a bunch of different kinds of salt. You'll see when we go over to the pantry cabinet. But a lot of what I use is kosher salt, and you got to have kosher salt in your house. It's not that this is kosher and other salt isn't kosher. This is, however, large grain salt, and it's used for soaking the blood out of animals and making it kosher. So the salt makes the meat, helps to make the meat kosher. It's not that the salt is kosher or not. All right, all salt is kosher.
That is
It's
brilliant.
koshering salt, really. Yeah, how about that?
I love learning.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
love it.
rabbi hat. The other thing that I always have in the pantry is some kind of boxed soup. And I like the veggie no chicken broth
Okay.
because it's not quite as sweet as the vegetable broth.
Mm-hmm.
The vegetable broth has kind of more of a carroty flavor, that
Yeah.
sort of sweeter vegetable broth. And this has more celery onion.
Oh, I like that.
So this is a little more savory, and that's usually what I'm using. But I use either one, and I also use the mushroom broth sometimes.
That's
It's better to make your own. A good veggie broth that you made and froze, or that you have in the fridge. That's better because it'll just be fresher and cheaper and everything. But you don't always have time.
Yeah.
So I almost always have these, and I'm using a little bit. It's flavor it with a little stock.
Can it go back into the pantry once open, or must
No,
be refrigerated?
once this is open, it's has to be refrigerated.
Okay.
But it's aseptic packaging, just like the tofu and the rice milk.
Nice.
Yeah. Olive oil. It really doesn't matter the brand, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Find a brand you like. Find a brand that's cheap. You don't necessarily get better by paying more. Mm-hmm. That really is true for olive oil. It's just you just don't get that necessarily.
Right.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Mm-hmm. I buy organic because I believe in it and because I really want to support organic farms. And I also buy extra virgin. That's important.
Right.
You want to have extra virgin because that means it hasn't been already pressed. You're not getting kind of the dregs. You're getting the first pressing of the olives, and that's usually the best. And I like a nice dark color olive oil. If I'm going to use a light oil, I'm going to use a different oil.
Right.
So I get one that's kind of dark color and has
It's a
a
nice
real
flavor.
olive oil flavor. Otherwise, I'm going to use canola oil. That's really sort of my go-to vegetable oil. And you can really see that's the difference in the flavor.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. This will impart less flavor than this will. This takes heat a little better than this does. This can get sort of sour in high heat if you're cooking really, really hot. So if you're making, stir fry and you're really hot wok, you're not going to use olive oil. You can use something light like peanut oil or soy oil or canola oil, vegetable oil of some kind, not olive oil. All right, now this is something that I learned about early on when I became a
I
veggie,
love that
and
myself personally.
I love this. I know a few people, out there, haters are gonna hate, and you're gonna tell me something about it that's horrible. And Bragg was, whatever. I know. I've read a lot of Bragg's books, and I like what he does, and I like the products that they make. And by the way, if they want to endorse me.
Hashtag Bragg.
Their liquid aminos are fantastic.
Yeah.
A tablespoon of this instead of a tablespoon of soy sauce. A little bit of this in a cup of water is like a cup of stock. Mm-hmm. It adds a really great flavor. I use it in salad dressing. I use it especially in cooking greens. It's really good with collards. Almost everything.
I
through
already
this
use that
all the time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And the other thing that they make that I really think is the best in class is their apple cider vinegar. It's not only organic, but it's also raw and unfiltered and unpasteurized. When you look for cider vinegar, that stuff matters. It means it hasn't been cooked. It's live. You can see the mother. It has mother in it, which means it's still making vinegar. It's still all the good, yummy, active stuff of vinegar. And it has flavor. It tastes like apples. It's not caramel-colored white vinegar that, is the cider vinegar that you buy in the store. This is the real stuff. There are a couple other brands that are similar to it, and they're also very good and flavorful. I just happen to like this. And put them together. We call it V&B. Vinegar and Bragg's. V&B. A little bit of this on salad,
Lovely.
on rice, on noodles, on bread, on anything. on tofu V&B. Magic combination. Okay, also up here, got, I have some sea salt, other kinds of salt.
Okay.
Right, some backup sea salt, just for quick rise yeast for making bread.
How long does that last once open?
This I keep in the fridge also after I open it up. Yeast lasts forever.
Okay.
This says best if used by January 2019.
Okay. Wow.
Right, so this won't run out anytime soon. And yeah, same. And you see I have 2 deep, right? That probably means that the one in the fridge is almost empty.
Nice.
Because that'll run out and I'll pull this up and then in a week or so I'll look up here and I'll say, I only have one of those left. I'll pick one up when I'm at the store.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe that seems neurotic, you know.
No, it seems prepared.
It's prepared. That's right. It's part of my prepper
especially
thing,
for people with children. Like, it just makes sense. The worst part of my day is when I realize I don't have something.
Right, I don't. And when you realize that that is when
always
you
too
do
late.
not have the time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go. Right, it's when I have the time.
The kids are breaking down. Everybody's hungry. No,
That's right.
I prepare.
All right, jarred stuff. So we always have jars of tomato sauce. And we just always do. My kids eat it on pasta when they come home from school. You can make a quick pizza bagel. You can throw together a dinner of just, spaghetti and sauce. And so I always have that. And I usually have a couple different flavors, Italian herb, tomato basil. I get the ones my kids like, and I get organic. If your kids like something else, great. I also have canned tomatoes. Because lots of recipes call for that. Stuff like red beans, stews, all those sorts of things. And my only advice about this is don't buy crushed, buy whole.
Okay.
And here's why. It's easy enough to crush cooked tomatoes in your hands or with a knife.
Yeah.
And the quality of tomato that goes into whole tomatoes is different than the quality of tomato that they use for crushed tomatoes. It makes sense. If you were making both, tomatoes that are not the top grade tomatoes, you're going to crush them up.
Yeah.
And the ones that look fantastic, you're going to keep them whole. So they do that quite intentionally, and that's why I always buy whole.
That makes sense.
No matter what the recipe calls for. Right? I also have a couple of smaller cans, tomato paste, pizza sauce. I have salsa. I like Trader Joe's authentic salsa. This stuff is really good. It's not thick. It's kind of thin, but I really like it. But we have a couple other pasta salsas also, and a couple of barbecued sauces or teriyaki sauce, stuff like that. I really like the bone-sucking barbecue sauce. This happens to be their mustard, which is the other thing, is some condiments that I keep over here.
Yeah.
And these will be helpful for you, Desiree. This is great. Better than bouillon. They do make, you have to be careful because the same company makes stuff that is meat.
Okay.
Right? It's soup bouillon mix. You put a little spoon in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it says 38 servings. So you see, it's like a teaspoon,
wow.
right? It's
Yeah.
very concentrated stuff. It's almost like those bouillon cubes.
Right.
But it's not a cube, so it dissolves a lot easier.
Yes,
This is way
because
better than the
those
cubes.
are really difficult.
Way better than the cubes. But you have to make sure it has the vegan thing on it.
Okay.
Because they make better than bouillon chicken, which is, boiled up chicken
Right.
concentrated down instead of boiled up veggies concentrated down. So make sure it has the little vegan V on it, and I use that for soups and flavoring.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. A little bit of that. Here's another thing like that. This stuff is so indulgent. I don't use this a lot, but I really like it. It's made in Canada. It's called Vegan Magic. And basically, it's like bacon fat. It's vegan bacon fat.
Nothing could be better than that.
Oh my God. I mean, it is just like, put a little bit of this in your greens. Mm-hmm. You'd swear.
Really? I
Oh my
gotta
God.
try this.
Who put bacon in it? Who cooked it with the ham hock? I
Yeah.
mean, I swear. Mix it with, again, in soups. Anything that you'd add, that you'd use bacon as flavoring
Mm-hmm.
for.
Vegan Magic. I will be looking for that.
It's really
And
good
where do you
stuff.
get that one?
I ordered it online. I'm sure it's I'm sure you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Or the other place I sometimes use is a website called Vegan Essentials.
Vegan Essentials.
I think it's called Vegan Essentials. They've got all kinds of stuff, not just food. I like these quick gravy packets, also vegan. They're thickening gravy. So when you make stews and stuff like that, I make Sabbath cholent, to eat hot food on the Sabbath. That's awesome. Tahini I have here. Other people call it tahini, but it's tahina. Tabasco sauce, sambal, garlic paste. And this is a good thing to have too, nutritional yeast. Do you use this in your kitchen?
I do not.
It's, Bragg's markets it, but it's available in all bulk stuff too. It looks like this powder, this yellowy powder.
Yeah.
And it's not yeast like bread yeast. It's nutritional yeast.
What's the difference?
It's a completely different creature.
Okay.
And it's used as a flavoring and a thickener. It's used in vegan gravies. The really good yeast gravy, that thick, like if you want that thick white gravy kind of gravy, they use that. It's used in a lot of vegan cheeses because it has a kind of salty, cheesy flavor to it. Yeah. Nutritional yeast.
And Bragg's you find is...
Bragg's, the reason I have this is because it's, you can find it in lots of grocery stores.
Right.
It's really easy and it's shelf stable. But I buy it in bulk usually.
Okay.
So I have a couple of these in case I need it, right, on the shelf. But when I go to a place that sells bulk, I'll get a bag, like this big of nutritional yeast. Recipes don't use more than half a quarter of a cup, something like that. So you don't need a lot of it. That's all that shelf and that. Any questions about any of that?
Nope. I'm excited about the vegan magic.
Oh, yeah. That stuff is good. Down here is cans. Canned beans, garbanzo beans, other kinds of beans, kidney and pinto beans, lentils. Also refried beans. I always have a few cans of refried beans because, man, it's just good. Simple nachos. Nachos, beans, cheese, veggies.
Done.
That's a meal right there. Burritos. I make a burrito casserole. That is, has a can of that. We use gluten-free soy sauce, so tamari, that's about, and coconut aminos, which is kind of a soy sauce substitute that's non-soy. I like soy sauce. Mrs. Vegan Kitchen likes coconut aminos. Okay. So we have both.
Works.
Yeah. I also always have a few of these. I like Amy's. Amy's, if you want to, endorse me.
Hashtag.
Amy's. Hey, hashtag Amy's. I'm really joking about all that stuff. It's like some dream. Yes, me and my very small YouTube channel. Amy's, come on down.
It happens.
It does.
It
Hey,
does. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You never know.
So I always have a couple of their soups.
Yeah, they're
very good.
They're very good.
And it's a quick meal. And here, what I will do is I will take the soup and I'll take like a veggie hot dog or a veggie sausage. I have something in the fridge or some kind of veggie deli something, something else. Chop it up and throw it in there and chop up some celery and throw that, piece of celery, whatever, just soup plus a couple of other things. And then it's really hearty.
Right.
And, now I'm full. That and a veggie dog is like full. It's easy. You heat it up on the stove. Yeah. Over here in the corner is where we have pasta. So, I have like, a box of pasta, rigatoni and spaghetti, lasagna, stuff like that. We sometimes make these rice noodles, those thin...
Yeah, I like those.
Glass noodles, that kind of thing. Real easy and quick to cook. And I really like this tinkiata rice noodles. I have tried a lot of gluten-free noodles. Rice noodles, this other kinds of grains. These are the best. They really hold up. And we go through this stuff all the time. And we eat a lot of this. Our kids eat a lot of it. It's good. They have this easy energy saving where you boil the water, put the noodles in, turn off the heat, and just let it sit. And it cooks perfectly.
Wow.
So I really like the tintiata noodles. Down here is the other canned stuff, sort of canned vegetables. Olives. I like green olives, Israeli olives, so we always have some of that. Pickles. My burrito casserole calls for either pumpkin. I shouldn't have pumpkin pie mix. Ugh. This should be just plain old pumpkin. That's a little warning. If you're looking for canned pumpkin, it is not the same as canned pumpkin pie, which is sweet, 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 and cinnamony and all flavored up. So I probably won't eat this, but it should be pumpkin or sweet potato puree. My burrito casserole has sweet potato or pumpkin in it with black refried beans and sweet potato. Oh, it's so good.
I'm excited to hear about that one.
That's a recipe coming. Also, I really like this stuff. It's a company called Sophie's, and they make vegan seafood substitutes. Some of it is frozen and refrigerated, but they make a vegan tuna fish. And there's other companies that do that. I think this is really good. And I make a tuna noodle casserole. There's a video on it. Please go watch that video. With this, my son eats the whole thing.
I love tuna casserole, so I'd be interested in that recipe.
Is awesome, and I loved it as a kid. And so, why should my kid not have tuna casserole? Just because I don't want to kill tunas,
right?
Hearts of palm, artichoke hearts, baby corn, water chestnuts. All those kinds of frozen things. Here's a good quick recipe. I call it three can stir fry. A can of baby corn, a can of water chestnuts, and I don't have it, but bamboo shoots. You can get them in any supermarket, anywhere. Open them up, rinse them off, stir fry them up in the wok. You don't even need fresh veggies.
So simple.
Yeah, 3 cans. RV life, you're on the road, you need veggies for dinner, quick. That, and that.
Done.
No refrigerator, fresh, tasting, Chinese food, done.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that too. 3 can stir fry. Down here is sushi rice and short grain brown rice. We eat a lot of rice. We have a rice cooker going all the time. You can sort of flash over there. See our rice cooker? Here, I'll sneak over here. And they're getting down empty. Right, a rice container, brown rice and white rice. We make a mix of brown and white rice, and it's always running.
Right.
Practically 24 hours a day, so that you can just always have rice with everything.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. And that is pretty much the vegan pantry. I don't think I missed a whole heck of a lot. Coffee and tea and whatnot, but yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. This was really, really helpful to get started.
Oh, you're welcome. Next up is the pantry over by the stove. Let's go.